YouTubers, here we go again. Today it's another Gladiator project. I ordered the Hotheads headliner. Why the Hotheads? Well, mainly two reasons. One, I had the Hotheads headliner in my JK, which my son is now driving. And second, so I had a positive experience with those, but they've improved since then. First, they have a much better radiant barrier for heat, and I also got, which they didn't have before, they have these butyl patches that stick onto the roof which deaden noise. And if you know anything about acoustics, the more mass, more dead mass like this that you have attached to a vibrating surface, the less likely you are to transmit that noise. And so that's exactly what this does. So the instructions are there, but basically what you do is you get a piece of sandpaper that they have shipped with the headliner. You scuff up the areas where things are going to be attached. You clean them off with some alcohol, wet wipes, whatever, as long as there's no residue, and then you press it in place. These go inside the channels inside your roof, and then the pieces of tape go on the raised sections on your roof so that this sits flat. I got both the roof and the rear quarter panel sections, and I'll show you what that looks like inside the vehicle. But first, let's see if we can insert a little bit of science, and I'm going to take some measurements of heat and see if they do actually make a difference. So let's try to insert a little bit of science into this. I have a laser thermometer here. Just for control's sake, the temperature of the concrete is 112. The temperature of the white paint is 111. The temperature on top is 155, and the temperature on the inside 138. That makes sense. It's 147 on the thin sections and 140 on the thicker sections. And then let's pick a section here somewhere, maybe on the fabric seat. 117 there. In the shade of the center console, 115. Dash is 117. I'm sure in the sun here it'll be hot, so that's not really relevant. So I'll go through the installation. It's going to get installed on the front panels, the rear large panel, and also on the quarters there. Okay? Okay. Hotheads haul these, they call these sound assassin strips, and they go into these grooves in your top. They say do not scuff, clean these with acetone, and that's what I'm going to do. There it is. I also have, I purchased from them this little wheel, so that'll get wheeled on, and I'll install that in all the strips, and I'll start with the front first. So here's how it goes. You want to make sure that this is, that's nice. You want to make sure that this is tight. Now we go on to the driver's side. Alright, so now the sound deadening portion is installed. And now I'll use the rest of the material, or the rest of the headliner, to install on here. I wish that there was a better option. You know, ideally I would put this type of material on here also, and then the deadening, or the finished A surface, if you will, on top. But this is where those 3M strips will adhere, and they don't adhere to this. So I'll go and scuff this up, then clean it with acetone, and then attach the headliner. Alright, first we scuff. Be ready for fiberglass gel coat cleanup. So I'll get back when I'm all scuffed, and then I'll show you how I put those on. Now, these are the panels for the front headliner pieces, and they attach with 2 strips of VHB 3M tape. And although that might be okay, I'm going to add extra along the edges here and here. That's what I did on my other top, and they've been on for 7 years and haven't moved. So this is probably okay, but more is better. Okay, there's my additional tape. Now I'm gonna peel this off. This is always the fun part. Peel this off and place it like so. I'll be right back. Okay, here's the first panel. Remember, we're only held in by 2 strips that are about here and here. So in between, it's going to flex a little bit, but they give you this magical piece of cardboard. You should bend the edges a little bit so that when you're applying pressure, you don't accidentally tear into it. That's it. You know, it will bend if you press on it because there is a gap underneath. Remember where those sound deadening strips went? But it should be it. So I'll do the same thing for this side now. So same process on the rear. You put your sound deadening strips in the depressed areas after you acetone clean those. Do not scuff. So let's get to it. Okay, sound deadening in place in the back. I'm not taking the top off to do this, obviously. If I did, it'd be a little bit easier to get the sound deadening in over the speaker panel, but I think it'll be okay. I can reach in there and wet it out with my hands, which is what I'm gonna do. So then next is to scuff, clean, put the extra tape on the back panels, and install them. For the rear panels, I'm going to do the same thing with extra tape. Probably, I don't know, a couple strips, maybe 1 in the middle here, maybe 2 in the middle. I don't know. I'm going to add more. Kind of like that. I'm running out of tape, so I got to save a little bit for the last panel. You can't put the rear headliner panels in without raising the roof. You don't have to take the whole thing off, but you do have to tilt it. In order to do that, you have to take 2 bolts out in the back, loosen the rear most bolts, so take out the ones that are in the corners and take out the ones that are here. There's one here and the one on the other side, and then you can simply tilt the roof panel. I just wedged the ball in there, but you can tilt it up so that you have enough room to put the headliner in. You have to do it this way, otherwise you don't have enough room to put it in and tilt it around. Okay, and it's finished. So Rear panels are in. Oops, sorry, you can't see that. Rear panels are in. Corner panels are in. That being that one right there. This one here. They're curved, so they kind of snap in and then get taped by one piece. I didn't show that. Like I said, in order to install the rear headliner, you have to lift this up, and because the headliner piece is longer in the middle than it is on the outside because of the curve of that front panel, you have to bring in these panels kind of like sideways and then in. It just depends how far you lift this. I only lifted this a couple inches because I didn't want to lift it up all the way. So that's it. I'm happy. It looks really clean. It comes with this little center piece here. It's just a filler panel for no reason other than aesthetics. But that's it. And I'll include at the end of this video some thermals. I took some measurements before. It's been cloudy and rainy, so once it gets sunny again, I'll take a comparable measurement and show you what the effect is. Okay? Alright, to finalize, not quite as hot as it was yesterday, but anyway, it's 104 degrees on the concrete, 101 inside on the outside of the cab. On the surface of the roof, it is 142, and where are you? 119 there, and 123 here, and 127 there, and just for the record, 106. So what does that mean? It means that the hot heads definitely do provide some level of ambient heat reduction. I mean, you don't heat up the full surface of the roof, so that makes sense. So is it worth 500 bucks? You be the judge. For me, I think so. It is my second set on my second vehicle, and I guess that's what it means for me. Anyway, hope you found some value. Talk to you soon.